We all have all the things required to live a creative living: courage, inspirations, perseverance, and trust. These are universally accessible, which doesn't mean creative living is always easy. It merely means creative living is always possible. Creativity is a path of courage. Wherever creativity exists, there'll be fear. Because creativity asks you to enter into rounds of uncertain outcomes, and the fear hates uncertain outcomes. It's natural, but fear is a thing we have to deal with. If you're going to limit your creativity just because of your fears, then you are going to live and die a mundane life like many others. As a saying goes, argue for your limitations, then you get to keep them. Do you want to keep your limitations? Why? Elizabeth Gilbert says in her book, "Let me list some of the many ways in which you might be afraid to live a more creative life." You are afraid you have no talent. You are afraid you'll be rejected or criticized or ridiculed or misunderstood or worst of all, ignored. You are afraid there's no market for your creativity and therefore no point in pursuing it. You are afraid somebody else already did it better. You are afraid everybody else already did it better. You are afraid somebody will steal your ideas, so it's safer to keep them hidden forever in the dark. You are afraid you won't be taken seriously. You are afraid your work isn't politically, emotionally, or artistically important enough to change anyone's life. You are afraid your dreams are embarrassing. You are afraid that someday you will look back on your creative endeavors as having been a giant waste of time, effort, and money. You are afraid you don't have the right kind of workspace or financial freedom or empty hours in which to focus on inventions or explorations. You are afraid that you don't have the right kind of training or degree. You are afraid you are too fat. I don't know what this has to do with creativity exactly, but experience has taught me that most of us are afraid that we are too fat. So let's just put it on the anxiety list for good measures. You are afraid of being exposed as hack or a fool or a dilettante or a narcissist. You are afraid of upsetting your family with what you may reveal. You are afraid what your peers and co-workers will say if you express your personal truth aloud. You are afraid of unleashing your innermost demons. You are afraid your best work is behind you. You are afraid you never had any best work to begin with. You are afraid you neglected your creativity for so long that now you can never get it back. You are afraid you are too old to start. You are afraid you are too young to start. You are afraid because something went well in your life once, so obviously nothing can ever go well again. You are afraid nothing has ever gone well in your life, so why bother trying? You are afraid of being one-hit wonder. You are afraid of being no-hit wonder. I know that list will never end. So accept your fears. It's okay to be afraid. The only people who are fearless are psychopaths or children who don't know the world yet. Accept it, recognize it, but don't make decisions based on your fears. As I said, creative living is you constantly choose your curiosity over your fears, again and again and again. You can think all what I'm gonna do is already done, so why should I do? This is a problem with originality and authenticity. They may be already done, but they are not done by you. Elizabeth Gilbert says, recognizing people's reaction don't belong to you is the only sane way to create. If people enjoy what you created, terrific. If people ignore what you created, too bad. If people misunderstood what you created, don't sweat it. And what if people absolutely hate what you created? What if people attack you with savage vitriol and insult your intelligence and malign your motives and drag your good name through the mud? Just smile sweetly and suggest as politely as you possibly can that they go make their own art, then stubbornly continue making yours. First, imitate art if you have to, and then try again and again to improve. But don't hold yourself or don't hold your work just because it's not perfect. It's simple and generous rule of life that whatever you practice, you will improve at it. Perfectionism doesn't let people finish their work, and perfectionism doesn't let people even start their work. Why bother if I can't be perfect? People say that everyone can create, but only some are going to be great artists. But who knows whether you are going to be great artist or not before you even trying? There's no art as high or low. If you think that your art is not going to be great, it's not going to be worth selling or serving anyone other than you, so what? It serves its primary purpose of serving you. Finish what you started. Every creator knows all the faults in their creations, the imperfect roads, the unnecessary drags, shortcut they took, etc. But once a work is done, it's done. You are not going to break down the entire house just because of a slight slanted wall. In the end, you finish your work and you enjoy the process. Sometimes you won't have the exact enthusiasm you had as when you started your work. It may drag. You yourself know that it's not going the way you expected it to. But finish your work. If you are not driven by enthusiasm, at least by labor, finish it. Already the world is full of unfinished ideas. In the best, no one will ever notice. In the worst, all are gonna point it out. So what? The world is not gonna end because you made one imperfect art? Yes, your ego will be hurt. But you can never satisfy your ego. If you got 1 million likes on your video, your ego will ask why it's not 10 million. So don't listen to your ego. Listen to your soul. It will tell that it wants more wonder. So you do what you do in a confident manner, in a reasonable time frame as possible. Then let it go. A good plan violently executed now is better than a meticulous plan executed next week or never. So many people think that people who have suffered a lot only can make great art. Suffering is advertised as the birthplace of creativity. But it's not. If you trust your creativity loves you as you love it, you will know it doesn't want you suffering. Trust that inspiration comes to you for a reason, because it knows that you can bring life to that idea, because it loves you. If you trust this, you can create as much as you want, even when inspiration is not the one driving your work. If you trust that creativity loves you, you would stubbornly do whatever it takes you to do it. So trust that it loves you and be open to the joy it brings you. Do you think these are delusional? Elizabeth Gilbert says, okay, for the sake of argument, let's call it delusional. But is it any more delusional than only you are suffering and your pain are authentic? Or that you are alone, that you have no relationship whatsoever with the universe that created you? Or that you've been singled out by destiny, especially cursed? Or that your talents were given to you on mere purpose of destroying you? What I'm saying is this: if you are going to base your life on delusions, and you are, because we all do, then why not at least select a delusion that is helpful? Allow me to suggest this one. The work want to be made, and it want to be made through you. But inspirations never promise you success. It can end in failure. Regardless of the outcome, you put forth your work. You are worthy, dear one. Regardless of the outcome, you will keep making your work. Regardless of the outcome, you will keep sharing your work. Regardless of the outcome, you were born to create. Regardless of the outcome, you will never lose trust in the creative process, even when you don't understand the outcome. While the paths and outcome of creative living will vary person to person, I can guarantee you this: a creative life is an amplified life, a bigger life, a happier life, an expanded life, and hell of a lot more interesting life. Live in this manner, continually and stubbornly, bringing forth the jewels that are hidden within you. It is a fine art in and of itself. Now go make your own thing. All the best. What are you excited about creating now? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up and share with your friends. Subscribe for stick around for more videos like this. Thank you guys.